Good afternoon, welcome back. Today we are going to finish up cleaning, what is this, 1960 reissue that we traded for a couple weeks ago. So you guys see me unbox it, cut the strings off, take a peek inside at the pickups and the cavity covers, and that's about as far as I got. Actually, I pulled the screws out of the back of the tuners here. So we are going to go ahead and get this cleaned up and finished and restrung and all that. But before we do that, I want to just quickly go over stuff that I use. So every guitar that I get, I always take it apart, look inside of it, make sure everything is original or changed as what the previous owner said was or wasn't in it. I also do it so I can clean it properly. When you take everything off of it, it's a lot easier to clean and polish the headstock, front and back, just the front of the body in general. I always leave the pickups in, obviously, but take off all the little bridge, tailpiece, pick guard, anything like that I take off. The only time you ever want to use a heavy rag like this, which is actually, this is a soft one, but it's considered a scratching rag. You don't want to use this on your finish. I use this when I do the 01 cleaner prep on the fretboard, and I use a really soft toothbrush. And again, I always reiterate, you don't scrub really hard on it. You just use this and the liquid to loosen up all the garbage in the grain of the wood and up next to the frets. So that's always the first step that I do too, because it's the messiest and you don't want it on your polished finish when you're all done. Always make sure you have plenty of soft rags. I use Dunlops. This is the Platinum 65, and this is another Dunlop one, big one. I use all these for my wax on, wax off with the Carnauba wax, and I use them with the cleaner polish. These ones I usually use when I'm just doing like a spray wax on one that's already brand new or clean and has been cleaned. I'll use, I never really use the deep clean that too much because it was always on nice stuff, but the Platinum 65, that's a good one just for touch-ups and stuff in between uses or people handling it and whatnot, and just on with this and dust it down and wipe it off with that one. So that's normally what I use these for. I'll use this for a final buff after I've waxed the guitar. So it's nice to have a variety of polish cloths available and ready. And like I said, some soft toothbrushes, and then you can just rinse these out when you're done. Obviously, you're going to want your multi-purpose screwdriver, nice pair of snap-on or whatever wire cutters. Here's a little feeler gauge I have for setting string heights and stuff. But anyways, this is another thing that's nice to have, is a really soft, this is microfiber, so it's extremely soft. Even though I have a mat here that's padded and it's vinyl, it's not going to scratch the guitar per se. I like to use this for when you're laying the guitar on its face to polish the back. Couple reasons. It gives it that little extra bit of cushion for around these areas, so when you're pushing on it, you're not up against the hard surface. It's a little bit more of a pillow there. And also, depending on how I do it or where I start, which is usually the front because I do the neck or the fretboard, the headstock, the body, and then I flip it over, and then I do the back, and then I flip it back and touch up the front. If you guys want to stick around that long to watch me do all that, that's all fine and dandy, because that's what I'm doing. So if not, you're more than welcome to leave, but that's what I'm going to do right now. You should also have, if you can, I made this. If you go look back on my other episodes, did a giveaway to a subscriber. So let us see, there's 2, 3, there's 5 of these in existence so far. So if you guys are interested in one of these, check out my video, and if you want one, contact me. They're about 175 bucks for me to make one. So if you want one, I can make one custom fit to your guitar. Just watch the video on that. The other thing that's nice to have is a cork neck rest. This one's Guitar Tools, much cheaper than the Tune-o-matic one. Same thing, just says Tune-o-matic on it. So you can set it there for like acoustics or whatever, and this way it just kind of, then you got this way. So it has a nice variety of ways of holding the guitar. So it's just nice to have a neck rest while you're working on it too, and that keeps you from putting any pressure on the back of the headstock while you're cleaning it and whatnot. So all right, without further ado, I guess we're gonna go ahead and get started on this. So I'm gonna start with the 65 cleaner polish. And this, oh nope, see, I'm going to paint. I just told you guys what I do first. That is a fretboard. This one sounds like it's a little empty. Yeah. If you're going to polish your frets, this is a good thing to do too before you do that, because then your tape or whatever is going to stick nice and close to it. Or if you're using the little metal thing that has the hole cut in it, you may want to do this step afterwards, because you know you're going to get polish and all kinds of stuff down there. So this is the only time that I will use a rag like this, and it is just on the fretboard. And this guy used this guitar, he played it, and he was also a smoker, so we're gonna see some pretty brown stuff come off of this one. And then see how I'm just working working this back and forth, just lightly agitating all the garbage in next to the frets and everything. I'm not pushing down hard or nothing like that. I see people use steel wool and go back and forth across the grain, and I just cringe when I watch people do that. And it is messy. So it's another nice thing about my mats. You can just wipe all that right off. Alright, so let's take a look at this rag here. Here's a before. I'm going to have to do this again. Yeah, it's been needing some cleaning. And there's a first wipe. Yep, I think that one's, there's some in there. It just won't hit the nozzle. I got a couple more underneath the camera there, so I can get one out later. It's nice to get a couple, 2 or 3 of these kits. I think you get, let's see, 1, 2, 4 different things, 4 or 5 different things. One of the things I never use is this string cleaner and conditioner. Well, I don't play, so every time I get a guitar, I do this. I clean them and put new strings on it, so I've never needed the string conditioner. But anyways, somebody that plays a lot, they might use it and think it's great, but I've never used it, so I try to steer clear of any kit that has that in it. There's second wipe. I don't think the frets need polished on this. I mean, I guess I could do it before I lemon oil the board, but they look fine. They all feel good. I don't see any dents in them. I think we'll just leave it be. So after I clean it, I always use this fingerboard deep conditioner O2, and I usually let this sit on there while I polish the guitar, or at least the front of it, because when you flip it over it gets everywhere on the mat. Then right before I'm done with the final wipe down, I'll put this lemon oil, 65 lemon oil on it, and do basically the same thing I'm doing now. Is just smear it on here, but I'll wipe it back off. I don't let it sit as long as I do this stuff. Figured it just had cleaner on it. Well, I got the pores open on the wood, and might as well put the deep conditioner on there and let it set for a second. It's too bad they don't make it a little more narrow for the bottom few frets there. Oh well. I've got all the useless stuff I don't use. Alright, well, let's move on to cleaner polish now on it. Actually, I wanted to finish taking these tuners off. I'd pulled all the screws out in the last show, at least on the unboxing of this, and then taking it apart. Maybe it was after. I can't keep up. It's been a couple weeks since I've actually posted any videos. Again, this is just a hobby, and I had a lot of things to do for my business and family, and it's been like fire drills left and right. So I already loosened these nuts and took out the screws, obviously, in a previous video, and then I said, well, we'll just stop and I'll do a detail video later, because that video was getting long, I'm sure. I don't remember, but I like to try to keep them short. And if I'm going to go on and do a project like this where I'm cleaning something, it usually lasts at least 30 minutes, because I try to break it down into 15 or 30 minute increments. Because actually tearing a guitar down and really cleaning it the right way, polishing in all the pieces and everything, it takes several hours actually. So I'll skip a lot of the things I do. Like I've been debating on what to do with these tuners and the hardware. Do I let it continue to age and just leave them be, or do I polish them? And the only reason that I'm considering polishing them is because somebody took red marker here, and I'm going to try to use the toothbrush and some spray cleaner and clean that off, but I'd like to just let it age and just do kind of a general cleaning. Any deep scratches or anything in it I'm not going to worry about, because this is a quote 1960 reissue, even though that's not correct. It's missing the poker chip and the pick guard, so it's already got some relicking factor going for it, I guess. So yeah, now I got the tuners off. Go ahead and start the cleaning process on this thing. So the first thing I do is get the headstock nice and wet with the cleaner polish and just work all the dirt and grime off that was around all the tuners and the truss rod cover up there by the nut. This is my general wipe down. I pretty much go over the whole guitar like this first before I start any polishing, just to get any kind of just general surface grit, grime off of it. I've been debating on whether if I should leave or take out the screw that was put back in here for the pick guard. I don't know if I'd rather see the screw or a screw hole. I think if you took the screw out, the screw hole would naturally kind of age and disappear like the one on the side did, but I don't know. So again, this first spray down is just trying to get any surface crap off. I know this is a 1960 reissue, but I wonder if they actually had tuning knobs like that back in the 60s. I'd have to look. I always thought they were like a top hat style or a reflector top. I absolutely could be wrong because I am no expert on this stuff. It's just one of fun things I like to do. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this stuff off because I'm gonna flip it on its face, and I don't want it putting any of it on my microfiber because that will transfer to my polished surface later if I have to put it face down on that towel again. And I mean, I could wash it, and I do, but you don't want to have to wash it every single time. All right. So the fretboard looks pretty good now. Had lots of gunk next to the frets. Headstock looks okay already. So we're gonna go ahead now and roll this thing over on its belly. Get its backside cleaned up. Now you can see here where it used to have the clusins. And it looks like they tried to fill the screw holes. Now I don't know if the previous owner did this or not. He didn't mention this when I talked to him or whatever. It feels like the old toothpick trick is exactly what happened. So they put a toothpick in the hole and broke it off. It looks like they might have tried to attempt to use some kind of glue or stain to cover it up. Yeah, nonetheless, that's why I'm not going to put a pick guard on it or original style clusins. It's starting to get its character now. Somebody's did something to it to make it their way, the way they like to play it and use it. And it's evolving now. Starting to get aging, and it's the way these things go, and I'll find a home for it someday and somebody else will appreciate it. And they may do something different to it. Who knows? When I first got this, you could smell the cigarette smoke on it. And the guy, he's a smoker. My dad is too. When I bring my dad's guitars over and or anything from his house, like his amplifier and stuff, you can smell the cigarette on it. Just comes with the territory of this kind of trade. But it doesn't smell like a cigarette now. It's aired out, and now we're cleaning it off. Alright, so there's our first initial degrime, I should say. I really like this guitar. I liked my gold top a lot too. I was looking back at my pictures and I had this whole rack was full of gold tops, and I had some on the other side. Now I don't even have one gold top. And most of my stuff was all newer, like 2007 and newer. And now I'm getting stuff that's a lot older, vintage and reissue stuff that looks vintage. I really wished I would have started all this filming prior to when I did, because man, my dad and I were thinking, we can't even keep track. I'd have to go back and look at how many guitars I've actually come and gone now, but if I had to guess, I'd say at least 70 now, which isn't that much for somebody that has a shop or something like that, but somebody that just does it for a hobby, I'd say that's a pretty good number to have turned over in just a couple years. So I really wish I could play them, because like I've said before, there's been so many really cool instruments that I've had that I wished I could have tried out and played before I got rid of them. So eventually I will learn how to play one of these things, but and then when I do, when I learn how to play, then one will actually speak to me. Because right now when I pick out a guitar, I pick it out by maybe the year or the color or the way it looks or the attributes or the pickups or pots or, you know, whatever, the combination of everything. I just pick out the guitar based on how it looks and feels. Other than that, I can't base my opinion on them unless I have somebody play them for me, which would be like my dad or somebody from church or something like that. But yeah, so not going to get any kind of sound testing from me. This isn't Trogley's channel, so eventually maybe someday I'll pull that off and we'll be able to play a few of these things. Especially, man, when I get that Silverburst done, that's going to be a really neat guitar, because it's going to have a Veritone switch, which is 5 different capacitors, and it's going to have a 6-way switch here, and it's going to have triple pickups that you'll be able to go to each individual pickup and combinations of others. So that's going to be a neat guitar when it's all done. So what I usually do when I use this paste wax is I get it all smeared out and applied nice and even on everything. And then I'll go back with a different rag and immediately start polishing it off, because you want it to haze, but you don't want it to dry. So where you started, you can go back over again with the rag, because it's nice and damp still. Go ahead ahead and hit the pickups a little bit. Alright. Notice spray cleaner, wax on, wax off. Sound like Karate Kid now. That shows me my age there, don't it? I was a little kid though when that was out, so. But I really like this Dunlop products. I mean, they work really good. I just got my dad a kit. Our pastor, we gave him a kit. Everybody seems to like it so far. All right. All right, well, there's the top. Oh, I see a spot I missed right there. On my Cherry Burst, when you would look up at it like this, you could see all the bird's eye in it. And you can on this too, but when you look down on this one like that, let me see if I can show you guys this. Oh, you might not see it. You probably never get to see what I see. But there's a lot of bird's eye in this. You gotta hold it just right to see it. I can see it clearly right now, but anyways, stuff works really good on cleaning and polishing. Look at the top now. It's nice and clean, shiny. I might as well do the headstock now. And normally I would also try to machine polish as much as I could to make it absolutely perfect, but since this isn't all original and it is a 1960 reissue and it's supposed to be old anyhow, I'm not going for perfection on this. I just want it to be cleaned up and ready to rock. I bet my dad will like this. I'll have to take it over and drop it off and let him play it for a little while. He loves the 2018s and 2017s. So do I. Those have been my favorite ones to buy and sell and trade and play with. Well, I haven't traded to any. Have I? Maybe I have. Yeah, I did. I just traded to 2017 for this. This here is a 2005. 1960 reissue, but yeah, I'm pleased with it. And if I would have took that gold top apart and changed all the pickups and stuff in it, I probably wouldn't have been able to do what I did with this guitar here. The guy might not have wanted it the way I was going to do it, so I guess that all worked out for the best. Yeah, so I'm pretty meticulous when I get something. I spend the time to properly clean it. I always put new strings on it. And when I get done with it, I usually have my dad try it out, make sure everything works and stuff. I mean, I plug it in and I can rap on the strings, and there's a couple notes that I can play, but I'm not going to embarrass myself doing it on camera. So I do test them, but I don't enjoy testing it because it's not fun because I don't know how to play. It would be great if I did know how to play, because then I could have some fun while I tested it. I haven't even polished the sides yet, or the back. And then again, usually when I'm all done, after I get it restrung and stuff, I mean, I keep wiping it off as I go. But after I get it all restrung and everything, that's when I'll come back in too. Because you're still touching it and flipping it around and doing things to adjust the strings and tune it. And so that's when I'll come back, and I'll just mist a little bit of that on it and use the bigger cloth to wipe it down when I'm completely finished with it. So again, this is just a long, tedious process, and that's why I try to break it up into several different videos. I mean, I could edit it and make myself speed up and look like I'm doing 100 or whatever, but I'm not sure how to do all that kind of stuff yet. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. So you guys are going to have to fast forward or skip to the next one. I am trying to figure all that stuff out. My wife has been the one that's been throwing up the thumbnails for me. So thanks to her, I get thumbnails. She showed me how to do that, but I haven't quite picked that up yet. I'm working on it. Yeah, there's some buckle rash and scratches on the back of this, but again, I'm not worried about that. I was thinking about trying to, since this is a 1960, I don't know if they did that back in 60s or not, but I was thinking about getting a brown cavity covers for this, like the 76 has. Oh, that's 79. 79 has brown covers. I think that'd look pretty slick on that one. For now, though, it's going to get the black ones that came on it. And one little dent right there in the edge. Not bad. And again, this jack plate's got a couple corners missing. 3 actually, to be honest. Maybe I will replace that. And the fourth corner is cracking off now too. Oh, right here's my corner. That's another thing too, when you go to take one of your guitars apart or something, get yourself a little plate, put all the screws and loose hardware in. Bigger stuff don't matter so much, but it's all the little stuff that you and your wife, little plate, or your grandmother's or your mom's or aunts or whatever, somebody's plate. All right, well, so there we have it. We got the full cleaning and polish of it. Again, this was all hand, so no machine polish to try to get any deep scratches out. I don't know if you guys can see them or not, but right there in the middle, a couple little ones. Got a little dent right here. I mean, it's been used. It's got some buckle rash. See it right there where my fluorescent light is when I bring it out of there. Yeah, right there. It looks good though. So there it is, 2005, 1960 reissue. Cleaned and polished. So we are going to go ahead and end this video, and then I will get it restrung. And see you on the next video. If you guys have made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more projects coming up.